Alright, what's up everybody, it's Kami and welcome back to another JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable anime episode review. Today we're on episode 34, July 15th, Thursday, part 4. Now, I really have been saying that I like the way they've been doing this arc with Cheap Trick, Superfly, and Enigma. And this episode it topped it all off. It finished the little 3 mini arcs right before we get into the ending of Diamond is Unbreakable, because we do have 5 more episodes, guys. So within the next 5 weeks, this is going to end. And it's kind of sad to see it go, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy because then once this finishes, hopefully we'll get news or like a little teaser trailer, a little preview on the Evento Ario anime. And that's going to be amazing, guys. I'm so excited for that. But I want to try and not ramble too much about this episode today. I have a bunch of other stuff to do, so I'm going to try to be quick about this. Also, we reached 500 subscribers, so thank you guys for that. I'm hoping that I can get to 1,000 by the end of the year, so let's go and push for that. But anyways, on today's episode, we started off with Rohan just crouching in the corner of his house in his living room, and Koichi's walking in, and Koichi's like, "Oh, you called me over?" And Rohan's like, "Yeah, there's this dangerous stand on my back, and he'll transfer to you and kill you if you look at my back." And Koichi's like, "Oh, so you made me walk all the way over here for a dumb joke?" Because Koichi's like, "You always pull these stupid pranks on me, Rohan." You see, like, it's just like, you know, Rohan bullshitting Koichi here and there. It's just a little bit of a friendship attraction between them. It's kind of cool. And then Rohan's like, no, like, I'm being serious. Like, there's a corpse upstairs from the guy that got killed after the stand transferred to me and stuff. So Rohan crawls up the stairs on his back, and Koichi's still not believing it. And then he pulls up the little rotted corpse and stuff, and he holds it up to Koichi, and he's like, "Yo, like, I'm not joking about this." And Koichi's just like, "Yeah, whatever. And thanks for making me come over here for nothing, I guess." And then Rohan is just like, "Oh, come on, like, we're like best friends. Don't do this, like, believe me for once." And Koichi just walks out of the house, and then Rohan feels humiliated, and Cheap Trick is like, "Ah, see, doesn't that hurt, huh?" And Rohan's like, "Damn it, you can't humiliate Kishibe Rohan." He gets real upset. Then we have the opening play, and we get a cut to Kira riding the train home from work, and he's just sitting there, and there's this like really annoying, I guess, loud couple. It's like standing in front of him, and the girl kind of her bag like lands on his knee, so he moves the bag, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you trying to take something from my bag?" And then the guy's like, "Oh, like, you want problems, guy?" He's like, "Don't do anything," or whatever. And Kira's just sitting there like, "Okay, if you don't shut your ass up, I'm gonna blow you up." And then we get another cut back to Rohan, and he's walking out of his house with his back against everything, his back against a tree, back against the wall, walking down the street trying to go to the Morio Hotel is what he says to Cheap Trick. And then he gets stuck at an intersection, so he's like, "You know what, I gotta find a way to get across." So he sticks to a guy's back, and then he uses Heaven's Door on him so that he can't look back at him, so that he can successfully cross the street without anybody seeing his back. And he continues, and then Rohan is in the back alleyway, which this is really cool. I thought it was cool that they tied this in when I got to this point in the manga, but he goes to the back alleyway that we've seen before in previous episodes, and it's full of a bunch of dogs and cats, and Cheap Trick told the dogs and the cats that Rohan killed dogs and cats, that he hated them. So Cheap Trick tries to get them to attack, and he's trying to have the animals avoid staring at his back, because then he'll die and Cheap Trick will go on to them and it'll just continue killing people. So Rohan is struggling with not having the animals see his back while they go to attack him. Then out of nowhere, Koichi shows up, and he uses Echo's Act 3 freeze to hold the dogs and the cats down, and then he scares them away. He's like, "Rohan did nothing, go away," and all the dogs and cats leave and stuff. And then Koichi tells Rohan that he'd been following him for a while now, noticing that he kept walking with his back against something so nobody could see it. And that, you know, he finally believed him, and he thought it was really weird in the first place. So, you know, Koichi's being all like helpful, I guess, and then he activates 3 freeze on Rohan's back to try and pull Cheap Trick off. But since Cheap Trick is tied to Rohan's back by its stand ability, and ends up tearing Rohan's back open. So then Rohan tells Koichi to deactivate 3 freeze because it's hurting his back. And Koichi's like, "Shit, then what the hell are we gonna do?" And Rohan is like, he starts to look really crazy. He looks like he's gone insane. And he's like, "Hey, Koichi, look at my back." And he turns around, and then Cheap Trick is like, "Wait, what the hell? You looked at his back?" And then Rohan tells Cheap Trick, he was like, you know, I've been trying to get you into here this entire time. I didn't want to go to Morio Hotel because regardless of human or stand, you'll get attacked by what's in this alleyway that you don't know about. And then the hands from the alleyway come in and they grab Cheap Trick, and Koichi's like, oh shit, we're in Raimi's alleyway. And he didn't even notice, and Rohan is like, yep, this is where I tried to get you to. Alright, slight interruption there. But anyways, we see Rohan just like standing there, and he's looking all crazy and shit, and then the hands come out and they start to pull Cheap Trick away, and then Rohan's like, you know, I've been trying to get you here this entire time. I didn't want to go to the Morio Hotel. That was just a lie to trick you. So he tricked Cheap Trick, and then Cheap Trick is like, where are they going to take me to? And then he says, like, Rohan says something along the lines of like, I don't know if you believe in like a heaven or a hell, but just in case. And he uses Heaven's Door, and he writes on Cheap Trick, go to hell, and then the hands just take him away, and he, you know, disappears. That like, yeah, that's cool. And then Koichi's like, oh, well, good job, Rohan. I didn't think we'd get out of that one. And Rohan is just like, no, thank you, Koichi. You're really helpful. And then Rohan and Koichi are back out of the alleyway next to the little convenience store, and Raimi shows up because Rohan's bag is on the floor and stuff. And she's looking at the pictures that Rohan has, and she's like, I don't feel pleasant about this guy. I feel bothered. And she points to a picture of Hayato and Kosaku Kawajiri, which is Kira, and she's like pointing at Kira. But they distinguish Hayato and Kira in the same shot, with both of their name tags being there. And then we get a cut to Kira walking into the apartment of the couple he bumped into on the train, and the boyfriend of the couple, like the guy, he's like, oh hey, what the hell are you doing walking into our apartment? And Kira grabs this guy like by the head, and he just blows him up. And this is like a really cool panel in the manga. I love this panel a lot. It's just like, it's so ferocious. You really see like Kira's the guy you don't want to mess with. He doesn't play around, and it's like, it's ridiculous. It's really cool. And it also answers the question that some people have of, oh, well, can he just touch things and blow them up? Well, yeah, because as long as he touches with the finger, like his little trigger finger, he can put a bomb on anything. It doesn't have to be an object. He can do it with direct skin contact. We see that when he literally grabs the guy by his head and blows him up. So that answers that question about Killer Queen, because I guess people ask that question sometimes. I've had a couple people ask me that question. I'm like, well, look at this panel. I've shown them the panel, and even in the panel, you can see Kira's clearly putting his hand on the guy's head. He's clearly grabbing him with like all of his fingers, like open palm kind of, and he blows him up. And then the girl is just like, oh shit, what the hell? And she's like freaking out and like crying, and Kira's just like, oh, you know, hello, my name is Yoshikage Kira. He shows her her nails, or he shows her his nails, I'm sorry. And he's like, you know, my nails are growing back. Can you clip them for me? And then he asks her for her name, and she says, my name is Minako. And Kira's like, oh, I love your name, but can you cut my nails? And then she starts to cut his nails, and he's like, oh, I like the way you're cutting my nails and stuff. And she's freaking out. She's like, please spare me. And she's like, oh, didn't your boyfriend mention something about buying you earrings earlier? And he has his ears on earrings, and he puts them onto her ears. So he just killed her boyfriend and then took his ears, made them into earrings, and put them on her ears. That shit was like, it was ridiculous. It was kind of funny, I guess. It's like, it's ridiculously crazy. It's bizarre. It's JoJo. I'm like, yes, this is some good shit. And then Kira just blows her up and keeps her hand, and he's like, oh, you're better when you're quiet. And it just like, it shows us how like crazy Kira is. It's just there to remind you, like, this entire little scene, which I like the way they did in the anime, because he definitely made Kira seem way more menacing. Like in the manga, it's just like, oh, he just killed more people like he normally does. No, but in the anime, there's like this dramatic build up to it, and like the music was really good. All like the close-ups on his face and shit. You really see he's not playing around, and it's like, it's amazing, dude. It's awesome. And then through the same apartment doorway, we can see Hayato recording Kira with his camera, and then he just runs away because he's like, oh shit, he's gonna notice me. And he's like, this guy just killed two people. He just blew them up out of nowhere. This is definitely not my dad. So Hayato is smart. He caught on. He knows Kira's not his dad, obviously. And then Kira walks out, and he sees Hayato running off on the side of the sidewalk or whatever, and he's like, oh shit, like what the hell is he doing here? And I was like, wait, does he have a camera in his hand? And he's like, oh nah, this guy just like, he just, you know, saw me, he found me out, he's not gonna get me. So then Kira runs off with him. And then as Hayato's running, we actually see Jotaro walk past him, and Jotaro is walking into the apartment. For some reason, he goes by and investigates it, and he notices like the blood on the floor and shit, and he's like, okay, this is like fresh. Kira was just in here. It looks like he's ready to kill somebody again. And then we get a cut back to Hayato in the bathtub with his tape inside of a little bucket, and he's like sitting there freaking out, wondering who he could show the tapes to, since he says that he's had several recordings of Kira and his weird stuff. And then Kira walks into the bathroom after searching Hayato's room to see if he could find the tapes or something, and he's like, oh, can I take a bath with you? And it's like this really weird, uncomfortable scene, because it's like it's an awkward interaction, because Hayato's kind of like freaking out, and Kira's clearly onto him, and Hayato's kind of worried about this. So then we see Hayato like still freaking out with like the tape in the bucket, and he's trying not to show Kira the tape. And then he tells Kira he'll wash his back, but then Kira's like, oh, you know what, I'll wash your back first. So then Hayato's like, oh, okay, and he has the tape, like he's holding one of the tapes like to his leg. So Kira's washing his back, and then Hayato's like panicking and sweating and stuff. And then Kira's like, oh, why are you sweating so much? Why are you so nervous? And then Hayato's like, oh, you know, I'm like ticklish. You're tickling me. Don't you know that I'm really ticklish, Dad? And then he's like, oh yeah, you're right, Hayato, you have always been ticklish. So Kira's like, shit, this little kid is smart. I gotta play along with him. And then Kira ends up turning one of Hayato's hair strands into a bomb with Killer Queen. And then Hayato's like, oh, you're probably going to kill me, aren't you? And he's like, well, I've been recording you the entire time, ever since I noticed that your shoe size didn't fit. And since you were practicing writing your signature over and over. He's like, I know you're not the same guy as my dad. I know you're somebody else. And then he like looks up at the wall, and he's like, I'm recording you right now too. And he's like, even if you kill me now, only I know where the tapes are, and I know somebody will find them. Probably referring to I mean, it's a, I don't think at this point he's met up with Jotaro or Josuke or anybody else. No, he hasn't up until this point, but he probably knows that there's somebody out there, probably referring to them, who will be the ones to find out, because he even says even if he shows the police, they're not gonna believe that he's blowing people up. Like, if they just look at it, they're gonna be like, no way, this is real and shit, and they're gonna question it. And then Hayato's like, I'm not gonna let you touch or try to kill Mom. And then Kira's just like sitting there panicking, freaking out, and he's getting ready to activate Killer Queen's bomb, and he has like his thumb like over his hand, like, you know, when he goes to like push down on the switch or whatever, I guess. And he's sitting there freaking out with Killer Queen behind him, and it looks like really cool and shit. And then the episode just ends off, and then we get the title card for next week's episode, and they didn't change the name. It's still Bites the Dust. So next week we get Bites the Dust Part 1. I'm extremely excited. It was a really good episode today. They did a good job of making Kira like extra dramatic and what's a good word for it? What's a good word for it? I guess menacing in terms of JoJo. Very menacing, very ominous, very like, it makes you uncomfortable in the way. It's like, whoa, this guy is not playing around, and he's not the guy you mess around with. So it was really cool. It was really cool. Really good episode. I loved it. Next week's episode is going to be even better. We're finally going to see Bites the Dust in action. We're going to see Kira get his hair swap, because, yes, his hair is going to swap. That's pretty much the only change in his appearance. I have a video explaining Bites the Dust being a Requiem stand before Requiems are a thing, so you guys can check that out on my channel. Of course, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I'll be uploading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure content on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Of course, will be the Diamond Unbreakable anime reviews like today's episode. And I'll probably do shitpost Sundays, which is where I'll just like have like a meme or a joke video on Sundays. It won't be a every Sunday thing, just to kind of, you know, keep it unique, and so I can think of ideas and stuff. It's just a thing that I'll do, you know, when I feel like it. There's no like, what's a good word for it? What's a good word for it? You know, I can't think of words today, but if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Like I said before, leaving a like on the video always helps, so lets me know if you guys enjoy these. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.